Thank you for joining us today. Could you, for our viewers, please introduce the International Peace Bureau?
You know, the IPB is the eldest, 1891 founded peace organization in the world. And IPB got the Peace Nobel Prize in 1910 and was a very active active organization in the 19th and the beginning of the 20th century, and was very active in the Cold War period. We were a part of these bilateral actions on the both sides of the Iron Curtain in the 80s. We were fighting against Pershing II and cruise missiles. The goal of IPB is a world without war. This includes a world without nuclear weapons. And this brings us to the two main points of the actions of IPB today. Is on one side to fight against military spending, these 1.9 trillion US dollars which the world is spending for military purposes. And the second is to abolish nuclear weapons. And this means today to support the fight for the treaty for the prohibition of nuclear weapons. These are two main issues of IPB, which IPB as a general organization and the member organizations of IPB are active in.
We would like to divide this question into two parts. Firstly, could you talk about recent developments taking place in military spending generally and in Europe? Secondly, could you also talk about the opportunity costs? In other words, what would be the outcome if the same money was invested in other sectors of our society?
You know, the budget of NATO this year is for the first time more than 1 trillion. This is new 2019. This is a huge amount of money, and you know, we need the money in Europe also for social and ecological purposes, and it is definitely stolen from the social and healthcare systems in all countries in Europe. And you know, like me, how it looks like the healthcare systems in Italy, in Spain, or in France, or I'm not speaking about the United States. So we definitely need this money. And you know, the figure is the money for NATO is growing about more than 5% between 2018 and 2019. A specific role is Germany. The increase of spending for military purposes in Germany is plus 10%. This is the highest amount between 2018 and 2019 in one country, plus 10%. No other country was raising. So that is a big point for Germany. And you know, we definitely have to come to another politics in Germany. And European Union is a huge problem because the militarization of the European Union is absolutely going on. And when you look to the reality, the European Union is the second biggest spender of money for military purposes. The amount of money the European Union is spending for military purposes is about $250 trillion. This is higher than China. So in reality, European Union is on place number 2 after the United States. This shows that there is a big possibility for disarmament and a big need when I'm looking to the circumstances, the social circumstances in Europe. When I'm looking to the healthcare system, maybe as one very important issue today, then I can say the cost for the ventilators, that every man or woman on the world and every child could have a ventilator for the purposes when he needs this. The total costs are about 24 or 25 billion for all the people in the world to have access to a ventilator. The second is how expensive it is to buy masks, face masks, for all people in the world. That costs about 150 billion US dollars. And testing for every person on earth, it costs about 280 billion, which is a big amount of money. But in relation to 1.9 trillion for military spending, it's a small amount. So you can see we could develop our healthcare system all over the world when we are using the money which is now spent for military purposes. And you know, I'm not discussing about the Sustainable Development Goals. The Sustainable Development Goals cost per year about 300 billion US dollars, following the figures of the United Nations. 300 billion per year for 10 years. The military expenditure is 1.9 trillion. So it is easy to take. It only needs a political will to do it. The change is possible when there would be the political will in the world. And this means we have much more to support now the UN General Secretary, who comes out for me with two wonderful suggestions. The one was a ceasefire suggestions, to say now in the crisis we should have worldwide a ceasefire. And up to now the NATO countries have not answered to this suggestion. And the second point is there is a disarmament plan from Gutierrez. He developed as General Secretary a disarmament plan for reducing the military spending about 10% per year for the next 10 years. And no one is speaking about that, because this is in absolute opposition to the leading countries in the Security Council. But it is on the table, and I think we as civil society should definitely promote it and should definitely support it. I think this is a huge challenge we can do to strengthen a little bit the positive development of the United Nations. It's totally right that we have a critical view to it, but I think this is really a very positive sign.
Could you talk about recent technological developments taking place in the military sector and whether you think they pose a threat to humanity?
You know, the problem is the new revolutionary technological development on the military field. This has, from my understanding, 3 points. This is the first one, all the weapons in space. The development that this is tremendously expensive. The second is the cyber war development, all the secrets development, the security issues, the control issues, which are done in many, many countries. And the third is the battlefield of the 21st century, which means the fight between the robots and the automatic weapons, where the human beings only give the first sign and then everything happens without them. And these are 3 technological development. These include the question of killer robots. This includes many of these technological developments. This is tremendously dangerous because no one knows how to get it under control, and no one knows what will be the practical results of this. It can really destroy the whole humanity. So these are the technological developments on the military field, and they are more than dangerous, and they are tremendously expensive.
Can you talk about how your organization has approached peace activities that are vital for democracy during this time when on-ground actions have been essentially frozen due to COVID-19?
You know, let's say it's vice versa. Democracy is very important for peace activities. And when the democracy is out of control and does not happen, like during the Corona time, it is always a problem for us. So for us, we hope and we have to fight that we are coming back to democracy. Democracy rights, parliamentarian discussions, public events, and an end. So that this time of control comes to an end. I know that this will be step by step because of the dangers of the virus, but you know, for the development of democracy in Germany, it is very important that this control time comes to an end. And that is where we are fighting for. And on this way, we are doing our webinars, we are doing our contacts to other organizations, we even developed online big international congresses, but we have to come back to street actions and to activities, to normal activities. So that is hopefully will happen during the next weeks and months, and then we will see. And I hope that we can organize till to the end of the year some of the bigger actions for peace, and all of us have in mind that we will have the next World Social Forum in the beginning of 2021, and hopefully this could give a good sign for coming back to democracy and for common actions for peace.
How can the public contribute to peace during this time? And why is it essential to the public to communicate with each other?
You know, only small ones. You know, we should be careful because, you know, the virus is dangerous. And we should be careful not to secure our people and ourselves. But, you know, we can take smaller actions. We can make the webinars, we can make the international online conferences. That let's do, and then hopefully we will overcome this period quite quick. Internet communication we can have on a broader sense. You know, now we can even have Zoom conferences with 1,000 participants. It is possible. So a lot of people can be engaged. For me, the main point, what is now needed in this Corona crisis is that we continue to have the communication between us, that we are not isolated sitting at home, that we are communicate with a political partner, with a personal partner, develop common strategies. That is a very important point during this situation of crisis, that no one is alone, that everyone feels that he is a part of a community which helps overcoming the crisis. And we have some successes, that we have really nice gatherings now from 10 people sitting around discussing the future. We have good online communication, but I hope that we can, so quick as possible, meet again on the streets.
What is your vision for the future?
You know, my vision for the future is that we again can have common activities and actions. The disarmament would be a key point of the activities of the peace movement, and that we can engage more societal organizations fighting for disarmament and for peace.